Welcome back. Well, Rotimi Fasakin joins us today. Thank you for coming on this morning. Good to see you again.
Good morning, everybody.
Well, a lot of people, focusing on government and governance, expecting so much, but many just say they don't understand what's going on. They say their hopes, is it being delayed or waiting too long for some of them to come to pass?
Yeah. All right. Let me say good morning, viewers, and thank you for inviting me. See, there are many things that are going on in government, and I believe this president is very much interested in getting to the fundamentals, to the very foundation of our nation. Many things have taken place, have already happened. This government is doing a lot. Maybe, unfortunately, many of these things are underreported. That,
like what?
I would say, cannot be put on the laps of the president. See, for the first time, and which we are seeing, Nigerians are seeing a budget process that is made to go through all the rigor. The first time a president finally put his feet down and said he wasn't going to sign a budget that he will find unimplementable for himself. For the first time, we saw...
Who prepared the budget?
Yes, the executive prepared the budget. That's true. But you and I know that the budget also went through some padding, some legislative padding, which in the last 16 years have been allowed to go, without any form of interference. But now for the first time...
Sorry to interrupt you.
Yes, go ahead.
Are you blaming the pardon now on the legislators? Because from what we get, the pardon was done before it got to the National Assembly. And it was in the National Assembly that people began to see that certain things were wrong. That's why we saw a lot of ministers going there to say some of them, had never seen the budget that was being presented to the National Assembly before.
Thank you, Malcolm. Yes, because entrenched interests, for the first time, are being confronted head-on by a president that is desirous.
Entrenched interests where?
Fine. Entrenched interests exist everywhere. Exist within the civil service, exist within all the arms, of government, legislature, judiciary, and the executive. Everywhere. Entrenched interest. And this president is desirous of ensuring that for the benefit of Nigerians, that these entrenched interests are confronted and inexorably defeated. And he's doing just that. Let me give an example. You mentioned that, yes, the budget was padded.
No, you mentioned that.
Yes, I mean that was padded by the executive.
You mentioned, no.
You insinuated
just
that.
A moment,
okay, no problem.
Just a moment, let me clarify what I said.
No problem, go ahead.
Because you said
go ahead.
that there was legislative pardon.
Yes.
And I asked you whether or not, the pardon wasn't done before it got to the National Assembly. That was the question I asked you. Okay. And I gave you instances why,
all right, thank you,
it would be unfair to blame legislators.
I got you. You are right. Pardon was done before it got to the legislature. And also when it got to the legislature, additional pardon was also done. True or false?
I can't tell us that. You tell us.
Okay, now, okay. See,
we didn't prepare it.
Before it got to the legislature, there was pardon. Before it got to the parliament. And when it got to the parliament, there was additional pardon.
But they are saying that they wanted to correct it. Not
they
that
cannot.
They
cannot be correcting when constituency projects that were not there originally were surreptitiously added into it.
Is that what you call padding?
Is that what you call padding?
What is that?
We're asking you.
What is that? No, you tell me. You tell me.
Because the legislators-
when a project that is supposed to serve you and I, that is of national importance, was surreptitiously removed, and pockets of, projects, that will maybe serve regional or, personal interest were put in there. What do you call that?
But I'm speaking about this matter because the legislature is headed by members of your party.
That's right.
So did that part of the information, did it have to come to the public? Couldn't the party have called them, say, listen, Nigerians voted us into power. We need to do why we were, fulfill the promises for which we were elected for. You call your members, you talk about this, and get governors moving.
Well,
what's wrong with that?
Well, what you are saying basically goes to the foundation of APC as a party. All right? What you are saying, you are now touching on the very foundation of APC as a party. You know that APC is an amalgam of various shades of interest. APC came as a result of what you may call, various, interests, pockets of interests coming together to say that, okay, we need to change things and, remove the status quo from power. Now, after that, the various interests now started to manifest their own, clandestine interest also. Now, so you will not say, which will also explain the emergence of both the Speaker and the, President, the Speaker of the House of Representatives and the President. These are facts that we all know as Nigerians, and we cannot run away from them, So we need to understand that. So when we're talking about APC, so APC will need some time to be able to come together.
How much time?
Well, I would say that the time, I cannot determine how long it will take, but I would just say that for the first time, we are seeing a situation in which the president has refused to interfere in the choice of who becomes the Speaker of the House of Reps or the President of the Senate. He indicated that, look, I'm ready to work with any of them, and which is something that we should see as a good sign of a forward movement for the nation.
Let me come in here. You heard Chief Dan Ulasi speak, and even though he's a member of the PDP, former PDP chairman in Anambra State, he did say he has so much faith and love for the president, so much belief in him that he can fix the mess we're in. But he went on to say, time is of the essence here, and we're running out of time. And as it is now, almost on a daily basis, that faith and trust in the president is being lost. As a member of the APC, you should also be worried. How can he bounce back, or your party's promise be seen and felt by Nigerians, since every quarter you go to, the vibe people get is that they can't feel the government?
Thank you, Suleiman. That's a very important question. You need to understand clearly that after the Constitution, the most important document, the most important document, it's the appropriation law. That is exactly that document that will affect you and I in a very fundamental way, in the way the amount of food we eat, how we can have the food on our table, and maybe probably the air of God that we breathe also, you know. So it's now for the first time we are having this president. I mean, before now, we've been doing things in a way that people, I mean, that we will say you cannot even pinpoint and say that is there any method to this madness at all? You know, there seems not to be method to the madness that we have had in the past. But for the first time, we've seen someone, a president, that is, you know, showing both in character and demeanor that is in charge and that is not going to be worried or bullied, you know, into, you know, what is dissuading him from what he's doing.
But people
you know, let me say something. Let me say something here, that it was Albert Einstein who said that it is unmitigated, you know, lunacy, you know, to do the same thing, the same way, all the time, and expect different results. You know, this president, you know, somebody, I mean, Chief Ulasi, I heard him came, I mean, said something. I mean, we discussed before, you know, he came on air, and see, he mentioned that there are, I mean, the various positions in Aso Villa that many of them, you know, preponderance of the position, you know, is concentrated, you know, on in the north, that this thing. And I ask, you see, we've stretched this federal character thing so much that when we even have our football team, the first thing that we have made the average Nigerian to look at is how many are coming from Hausa land, how many are Yorubas, how many are Igbos, and all those things, you know.